Alright now gang, today what we're going to be doing is balancing the rear wheel of this chain-driven motorcycle. This is a 95 ZX600 Kawasaki. And the technique I'm going to be showing y'all is applicable to chain-driven motorcycles with a dual rear swing arm, as opposed to the single rear swing arm that you see on some newer bikes. First off, all credit goes to Fog on the EX500 forum. It's a great technique. I've used it a bunch of times. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos, and it works really well and does a good job. So I'm going to show it to you guys here. You guys should do this as part of your routine maintenance. Also, anytime you tighten your chain, this is how to balance it really well afterwards. And also, if you're having any kind of wobble or you know, pulling to one side or uneven tread wear on your tires, this is a good thing to check out, because you really want both of your tires, both of your wheels, to be going down the same track as much as possible. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to tighten up this chain a little bit. I'll show you all how to do that. It's really simple. And then we're going to balance the rear wheel. So to tighten up the chain, first we have to loosen off the axle nut. You don't have to take it off, just give it a little bit of wiggle room so that this thing can slide back and forth. To do that, we're going to take out this cotter pin here. And then this is your big axle nut. Just going to loosen that off a thread or two. Just like that. Now these are your chain adjusters down here, and what you gotta do to adjust them is first loosen off the lock nut. Just like that. And then you tighten up this bolt here in very small increments, because a little goes a long way. I tighten it up by quarter turns until your chain is as tight as you want it to be. Your chain should have a little bit of wiggle room here. I usually go for like an inch or so of wiggle room. You definitely don't want it taut, and you definitely don't want it slapping around. So you know, you guys can tighten it up based on how you prefer your chain to be. Too tight and it will wear down your sprockets too much. So and put undue stress on the chain. So I like to have a little bit of wiggle room right here. The important thing is that you need to adjust both of these adjusters equally on either side. You see that there's two of them. So they need to be absolutely perfectly equally in order for your rear wheel to be balanced. Something that some guys do is they'll actually count the threads, and then you know, let's say there's 17 threads here. They make sure that there's 17 threads here, and then that's like basically that's going to be basically balanced. But it's kind of the same as bench sinking your carbs. You know, you're going to get it pretty much in the ballpark of where you want it to be, but it's not going to be exact. And so to get it exact and get your rear wheel exactly lined up with the front, this is the technique that I use. So first off, the bike's going to be up on its center stand. If your bike doesn't have a center stand, you can use a wheel stand, or you know, just use some blocks or whatever to get up in the air, and it's going to be on a level surface. Then I'm going to take a long piece of string, and I'm going to wrap it around the rear of the rear tire. I'll show you all in a minute. Wrap it around the rear of the rear tire and run it forward, and then attach it to two stable fixed points. Alright, so you can see that I wrapped it once around the tire, and then I taped it at the rear of the tire right here so it doesn't slide off. You want to have it so that's wrapped around the rear of the rear tire, but that it leads off as high up as you can get it without touching any other part of the bike. So it can't touch the center stand, it can't touch the front you know, brakes or anything like that. You don't want it to touch anything else on the bike but the tires. What you want is for the string right here at this point and the string right here where it touches the front of the rear tire to just be gently touching the tire. That way, from these 2 points, we can use a you know, basic math or whatever. 2 points creates a line. When you have those two lines that go straight forward on the bike, that shows the exact track that your rear tire is going to take. Now we go up front here and we tie them off to these you know, two movable but stationary objects. You know, I like to use these jack stands. You can use a brick or whatever. I like to use the jack stands, especially because you can raise and lower it like that, you know, if you want to get around these, like for here, example here, I raised it too much and now it's touching the speedometer cable here, so I can lower it back down again. You know, but whatever you want to do. So basically what we have now that the string is touching the 2 points on the rear tire, we can see this is the track. This is exactly how wide my rear tire is, and we can see it as it goes forward and basically impacts where the front tire is going to be. Now front tires generally are a lot thinner than rear tires, so you are going to have a little bit of space here. You can see in between the tire and the string. What you want to do is put your handlebars exactly dead on straight and then measure this distance here. And this distance here should be exactly the same as this distance here on the other side. If it is, your tire is balanced. If it's not, then you go back to those adjusters that I showed you about, and you adjust them one way or the other. Now a little bit, even a quarter turn, you'll notice is actually pretty noticeable when it comes all the way up here because of the length of the string. So that's how that's done. You know, try and get it absolutely as accurate as possible. If you guys have any questions about this, go ahead and let me know. I think it's pretty simple, but any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments.